And we're live. You're listening to Let's Talk, the SQPN community podcast. Hi, I'm Dom Bettinelli, and today I'm joined by Mike Creavey. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Dom, how's it going?
Very good, thanks. And Andrew Hermiz. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Dom. Good morning.
Good morning. Folks, you can catch Let's Talk Live on Facebook each weekday at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. And then in the Let's Talk podcast feed, we'll put the audio. And on the SQPN YouTube channel, we'll have the video posted there as well. So it is, obviously, it's Good Friday. And last night was Holy Thursday. What did you guys do for Holy Thursday this year? Mike, I'll go with you first. What did you do differently for Holy Thursday?
Well, it's been tricky, obviously, for everybody, but we sort of decided to kind of lay low. We haven't been traveling a lot, but we do see my parents, every now and then, and we were looking at some different options, and then we just decided to kind of stay close to home, do dinner here. We watched one of Bishop Barron's videos on the pivotal players on Fulton Sheen because I just became a Word on Fire digital member. I thought, hey, it's a good time to do that.
Yeah.
And then we just did a dinner, kind of regular dinner, and it happened to be bath night, so I thought it'd be a good idea to do a foot washing. So we kind of
Nice.
did that as a family as best we could. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's pretty much it.
How about you, Andrew? Did you do anything different?
Yeah, obviously different this year. Being at home, we same thing. We laid low. We made dinner here, and we watched daily mass as we've been doing for the most part. My parish, St. Peter's Chaldean Catholic Cathedral, they've been doing a great job streaming daily mass and all the various prayer services, and we do a yearly English prayer service that I look forward to every year. It's really like a mini retreat that's obviously usually done at the cathedral, but they live streamed it this year, where it's just a lot of meditations concentrating on the different characters of the Passion, everyone from Judas to Mary all the way to Christ and
Cool.
Peter. And a lot of ancient hymns that are sung. So it's something that we all watch as a family together, and at least we got to enjoy in a different circumstance, but
Yeah.
at least we still got to experience it this year.
That's awesome. That sounds really neat. Yeah,
Yeah.
my family, we watched the mass live stream from the Holy Cross Cathedral in Boston with Cardinal Sean, and yeah, it was different. It was the music, of course, was beautiful. The mass was beautiful. Cardinal Sean's homily is always was a really on point and pastoral, and it was a bilingual mass, so they did it in both English and Spanish. Well, trilingual if you include the Latin prayers that they added in as well. So it was a very nice mass. Very, as you mentioned, very strange at times to no foot washing at the mass, of course, this year. No procession to the altar of repose as we would normally see. There was they processed to the tabernacle, so right behind the altar. So it was different, and of course there's always that reminder at the between every person at the ambo, an acolyte comes forward with the, it must have been like rubbing alcohol, the isopropyl alcohol, and sprays it down and wipes it down. Just that reminder of where we are in the world today. We were gonna do a foot washing, but it just turned out it was late, and the kids, it was hard. And I mean, I had a couple of little kids who were just really, by the end of it, they were ready to go to bed. So it was like, well, we'll make that decision now that we're not going to do that this year. So that was the Holy Thursday. Yeah, it was. It, like you said, it feels a little odd this year. So it's for all of us, for everyone. It's feeling a little strange. What about for today, guys? It's Good Friday, obviously, and the commemoration of the crucifixion. What would you guys normally do on Good Friday, and how are you observing it differently this year? Mike?
Well, I don't know exactly what time it was, but I did wake up in the middle of the night because we had a big storm. And I couldn't resist. I'm looking out and there's like sheets of rain like blowing sideways and stuff. And I couldn't help but kind of feel a little bit of my own version of like, why is this night different than every other night? It's kind of like,
Right.
it's just strange. But we would normally, it's interesting because we moved, a couple times last few years. So we were just starting to kind of get like our new routine down last year. And that included the parish that we're going to and everything. So what we probably would have done, since my wife doesn't usually have off on Good Friday, is we probably would have tried to go to some sort of service that night if we couldn't go earlier. Some places do it at noon around here, some places do it at 3. But to actually, I mean, just without even thinking about it, right? Like that's what you do. I mean, I never even imagined not being in the church on Good Friday. So we would go to do that. And then would probably have some sort of family, dinner together, observing the fast and everything like that, but kind of coming together as a family, because that's something we usually do on Fridays a lot. So,
Okay.
missing that this year.
Yeah. How about you, Andrew? What would you normally do on Good Friday?
Yeah, I mean, good Holy Week, in general is, I always call it the Super Bowl, for Catholics.
Yep.
And it's. I'm a subdeacon at my parish, and I'm usually very busy during this week, and especially Good Friday, we get started, as early as noon, and then I'm at church, till 1 or 2 in the morning.
Oh wow.
Because in the Chaldean tradition, it's very typical to not only visit your parish, but to visit all the Chaldeans like to visit all the different Chaldean parishes.
Sure.
And here in San Diego, we have 3 different ones. We usually go to each and every one, and sit and pray. Again, during Holy Week in the Chaldean tradition, it's really, you really get a taste of some of the most beautiful, hymns and melodies that the Catholic Church, in general has to offer. These are jewels, of our faith, because a lot of these hymns, I mean, we attribute, a lot of them to the time of Saint Ephrem. I mean, so we're talking like 4th century,
Right.
even some of them before that. I mean, we're talking the spirituality of the apostles, and in essence, the spirituality of Christ, that our church possesses. And just a taste of that. I mean, I have here. This is a good book if anyone wants to get a taste of really ancient Chaldean spirituality, and like I mentioned, the spirituality of our early church fathers and our apostles. This is the Emmanuel Chaldean Prayer Book. It's available on Amazon. I also recommend the Emmanuel Chaldean Prayer app that's available on iOS and Android. So it has English translated Chaldean hymns that we haven't had before this book was published, I think like 10 years ago now. But one of the hymns for Good Friday, it's unique because I don't think any other tradition really touches upon the part of Matthew 27 where Christ, after Christ dies. It's kind of a strange verse where it mentions that the saints were awoken from their from the place of the dead, and they were walking amongst us. They were walking on earth, and they were seen by many. It's kind of a strange thing, and it goes by really fast. And then this hymn concentrates on that. I'll just read a portion of it. It goes, awake, O just, and see the suffering that I endure for your salvation. Awake, awake, O Abraham, see and rejoice, for the mystery that you signified by the death of Isaac has been fulfilled. Awake, awake, O Moses, and see the son who was brought to suffering due to your people. Awake, awake, O David, take your harp and sing before us. Lo, the free man among the dead. Awake, awake, O son of Amos, and come out of your grave and see Emmanuel on the cross. Awake, awake, O Jonah, and come out of the fish, and see that the mystery you signified in the depths is fulfilled. Awake, awake, O Daniel. And it goes on and on. It's literally a litany of saints and prophets. Right. It's really it's a powerful hymn, and the melody that goes along with it is really beautiful. And and you can hear all these hymns too. I'll plug another thing. If you go to SoundCloud and search St. Peter Chaldean Catholic Cathedral, you can find all these hymns recorded. So yeah, that's just something that I thought would be cool to share. That that the Chaldean tradition likes to focus on.
That's cool. Yeah, some of those ancient, like, because as you mentioned before, the Chaldean Catholic Church uses ancient Aramaic, basically the language of the apostles and Jesus. They would have spoken to each other. And so, in a way, it's sort of touching upon that, like what Jesus and the apostles would have been saying to each other, and what people would have been saying to each other that day. I always latched onto that, by the way, that verse when I was a kid. I'm like, wait, hold on, wait a minute, what must have happened like to people? Wait, Uncle Joe, like what are you doing? Like I thought you died. Like it must have just blown people away. So yeah, that's an awesome hymn. I'm gonna seek it out and try to hear what it sounds like sung. For me, what we here in Boston, there would normally be a way of the cross by the Hispanic community to the cathedral, through the streets of Boston, through the south end of Boston, with people dressed up in costume as Romans and Jesus, and there would be stations. They would stop at stations. They can't do that this year. In Fall River Diocese, which is just to the south of us, they have a large Azorean community from the Azores, and they have a tradition of the Romeros, where they would go from a huge crowd, 400, 500 people, going from church to church. They can't do that this year, so it really just feels even more penitential this Good Friday, even more so. My family, we would probably go to there's a nearby parish, not our regular parish, but there's a parish in another town next to ours that does a Good Friday that we've been going to the last few years. A beautiful church, St. Francis of Assisi, which is very Italian Hilltown style church. It's a beautiful church, and we would go there normally. But we're gonna probably watch at 3 p.m. Again, Cardinal Sean will be leading from the Cathedral of the Holy Cross. Anyone can watch it if you go to CatholicTV.com. Or the Catholic TV app, or if you have Catholic TV on your cable, that they do that too. We'll probably we'll be doing that and following along with that, which will be a beautiful service. Good Friday is always great, and then afterward, or at some point, it depends on how they manage the broadcast. We'll have a veneration of the cross with us. We'll have each of us in the family will be able to venerate the cross as we normally would do at the Good Friday service. So that's what we'll be doing. Later on, probably tonight, I'm probably going to watch The Passion of the Christ tonight, as we talk about. We recently did an episode of Secrets of Movies and TV shows on The Passion of the Christ, and so we'll probably hear, at least I will. I don't know if my wife, whether she's up for it, but we'll be watching The Passion of the Christ tonight. I think that would be it's a good way to observe Good Friday. So then Holy Saturday, it'll be. It's normally very quiet around here. We normally do a lot of baking and dyeing of Easter eggs. That's the kids are always in that, and in the Easter Vigil. And again, we'll probably, I've mentioned before, I'm hoping to do a lighting of the Easter fire in our fire pit in the backyard.
That's cool.
And if we can, if the weather cooperates and whatnot, that would be nice. Well, I'll leave. I'll leave the I'll let you guys know how it goes next week, whether that happens or not.
Well, the weather has been bad, and it still looks bad here in sunny San Diego. So I don't know if it's bodes well for the rest of the nation.
We had flurries this morning.
Oh.
So what?
It should be spring. So what? So what are you guys going to do for Holy Saturday? What's your plans, Mike?
Well, and I forgot to mention just one more thing for Good Friday. We're going to do, we have a bi-level we live in. So like most of our TV room and like our offices and stuff are downstairs. And then upstairs is like the main living room, just kind of to like lounge and everything. And there's a big crucifix up there. And I got the idea of doing our own Stations of the Cross later, like with Post-it notes along the wall, like up the stairs and then, to the summit, so we can kind of get the feel of it. And my brother and I were able to go to Jerusalem years ago and got to go to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And I just remember vividly, like, when you go in there and you go up the staircase onto Calvary, because it's all inside now, obviously. That's what I'm trying to sort of mimic that a little bit if we
Good.
can. So, but then tomorrow, I think one thing I thought, we're kind of we don't have a really big sort of formal plan for tomorrow, but one thing we wanted to do without, and I say this very carefully because we're talking about stuff, dealing with what SQPN deals in all the time, of course,
Sure,
namely
sure.
digital media. But we're going to have like a Hobbit day,
Yeah.
one of those just
Nice.
complete like unplug, no screens. Especially with work from home, we've been very blessed to do that lately, so we're not complaining at all. But it's just so much screen time, and
Yes.
we
No,
really
I
want to try
recommend
to
it.
deliberately,
Yeah.
just sort of shut that all down and just, really focus on trying to, I guess, get to the spirit in a sense of, the Lord's sleep, and I love that Holy Saturday sermon, the second reading in the Office of Readings. A little shameless self-promotion. I did a podcast that'll go out on Easter Sunday that kind of is a Holy Saturday and Easter Sunday kind of little mini message on my website if anyone wants to check that out later. But I actually read it at length in that recording, and maybe got a little dramatic with it. But look, it's dramatic, so-
Yeah, yeah.
But I really want to try to, us as a family, kind of focus on that reflection of where is Jesus between when he dies and Easter morning. And speaking of the Passion, I understand that's actually supposedly that's going to be the whole premise of the sequel to the Passion that Mel Gibson's
Right.
working on right now. So that'll be interesting.
So just to mention, your podcast is called The Gracious Guest. So go check for that.
They can just check my websites and the information on SQPN for my little About Me page too. So
Yes.
Yep.
How about you, Andrew? Holy Saturday and Easter?
Yeah, we don't have any big plans. I mean, we are gonna do the whole. I mean, with our 1.5-year-old daughter, we're gonna, we plan on dyeing eggs and all
Sure.
that good stuff. And I think it's just gonna be a lot of what we've been doing is, as far as our spiritual life is, tuning into the live streams and different recordings and trying to keep up with our prayers and doing as much at home, imitating at home, whatever we can as we would have done, at church. So
Yeah.
we'll be doing more of that, and we are thinking of, we are either gonna make a nice dinner or get something delivered or take out, do something special than, the quick little dinners and lunches that we've been making,
Right.
at home, so
Right.
far, with trying to balance work life and our daughter at the same time. So,
Sure.
I think it'll just, be a lot of, it'll be different this year, obviously. And, but, we're very, we'll try to be, as thankful as possible and try to recognize, the season that we're in and what we're celebrating.
For us, Easter Sunday, well, I think we're going to try to watch a Mass Easter Sunday, too, even though we're going to watch the Vigil.
Yeah.
Just to kind of start the day off right. And then, we'll have Easter dinner here, and we're going to try to do some Zooms with families. So my family and Melanie's family.
Oh, yeah.
That sort of thing. I think a lot of people will be FaceTiming, Zooming, Skyping, whatever they have.
Definitely.
That'll be good. And speaking of movies to watch, I might also try to watch during Easter week sometime is the newer movie called Risen, starring Joseph Fiennes, which I really enjoyed. Came out a couple years ago, which is about a Roman centurion who it's really kind of like a police procedural about the resurrection, where he's assigned to find out what happened to this criminal's body, what really happened, and it's a good movie. I would definitely recommend that one for next week for folks. And I wonder if
And Dom, can I? Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Can I throw one more into it?
Sure.
Because I haven't seen it yet, but Formed put out that Triduum Spiritual Pilgrimage, like a half hour. So when I was thinking about the holy sites, it goes through a lot of those. So we're going to watch that too, probably.
Yeah. We have a question in the chat room, and I just want to quickly address it. Heather, and I'll put it up on the screen. Heather has asked, "Can you talk me through how you will do the veneration of the cross at home?" So what I'll probably do is I'll go online and I'm gonna look up the exact wording of or look in the iBreviary app or whatever the exact wording is of the we would do in the liturgy, and it's very simple. And I'll just hold a cross, a crucifix, and we'll each take turns of just coming forward and kiss the cross, and we'll have some prayers. But I would recommend checking out iBreviary. Let me quickly open up the app on my phone and see if I can find it for today.
It should be too if they have the daily missal, because we have the single volume. I'm sure it's in there because all the Holy Thursday prayers were in there.
Yes. I would recommend some downloading today's liturgy, and and any place there's tons of places that have these. Magnificat has the stuff you can download for today's prayers. So
the Manual Chaldean Prayer app has the Chaldean version of it.
It's very good.
Nice.
Check it out. Yeah.
Let me see if I can
translate it in English.
Actually, that would be kind of cool to check that out and maybe do it a little differently. I'm quickly going through the liturgy of the word. The problem is it's not a problem, but I say the problem is that the liturgy today is very different from normal liturgies. So trying to find where where it is in that is quickly is a little difficult. So I'll leave it up to you to go check it out. There's a couple different places, but I would look in iBreviary, Magnificat.net, Liturgical Press. They all have downloadable versions of today's liturgies, and that is in there. But it's very simple, just a simple veneration of the cross. Even if you just have everyone in the family come forward and kiss the cross, and and as a recognition, thank you, Jesus, thank you for dying on the cross for us. We love you for that. So, great. So I do want to wish everyone a blessed Triduum, and hope that you will take some time tomorrow to take some time out from screens and from even from podcasts, and just spend time in a prayerful contemplation of the tomb, and looking forward to Sunday and the resurrection, and listen to some beautiful religious music, spend time with your family, cooking, dyeing eggs, that sort of thing. You don't have to mope around. Jesus has already actually risen, so we don't have to pretend to mope. But solemnity and joy go together, and that's what we're about. So I do want to thank you all for that. And so, any last words before we wrap things up, guys?
I just to re-echo what you said. I a priest a long time ago who he always put it, the crown of glory, comes through the crown of thorns.
Yes.
So maybe more better than ever before for us to keep that in mind, and whatever that looks like in our lives. So
very good. Thank you. All right. So we don't want to take a moment before we end up to thank our patrons. Again, as always do, their generous donations make it possible for us to create Let's Talk and all the shows at StarQuest. And if you feel called to, you can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. So we would love to hear from you. You can contact us by visiting sqpn.com or the StarQuest Facebook page at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia, or send an email to letstalk@sqpn.com. Until next time, Andrew Hermiz, thank you for joining me on Let's Talk.
Thank you, Dom. Appreciate it.
And Mike Creavey, thank you as well.
Thank you, Dom. Good to see everybody.
Yeah, you too. And once again, I'm Dom Bettinelli. Thank you for listening to Let's Talk on StarQuest, and have a blessed Triduum.